Half-Life Insecure is basically everything Blue Shift should have been. I know Blue Shift started out as a Dreamcast exclusive expansion, but it's kind of disappointing that when it was ported to PC, it never really got much in terms of unique features. It has the armor system, it doesn't let you use the HEV chargers and such. But when it comes to comparing expansions, Opposing Force is great, but Blue Shift is kinda lacking. You don't have the new enemies of Opposing Force, the new guns, you have some new characters and some new story developments, but that's about it. I mean, you even have a crowbar instead of like a baton or a flashlight or something. Unfortunately, Insecure steps in where Blue Shift didn't. It feels like a true and blue expansion. It's got the length of Opposing Force. It doesn't use all the assets of it, but I'd say it generally takes advantage of Gearbox's stuff, while putting its own spin on some enemies, some aspects of the game. It's really good. It feels like a potential fourth expansion if you want to count Decay as a third expansion. And I'd say it's satisfying overall. There are some minor hiccups, but it does exactly what it sets out to do. So, Insecure is kind of straightforward. It's your typical vanilla-centric Half-Life mod. You're playing as a security guard, and you are trying to escape the Black Mesa facility after the Resonance Cascade happens. You're fighting your way through aliens, through soldiers, through zombies, and all sorts of strange creatures, amassing an impressive arsenal and fighting for your life, solving puzzles, and so on. Exploration's fun. It's generally linear, but there's backtracking, and the puzzles make sense for the most part. The atmosphere is pretty nice too. It feels like you're exploring parts of Black Mesa you hadn't been to. Opening's a little weak because it just feels like a rehash of Blue Shift's opening segments, but once you get past that, it really comes into its own. The choice to have a knife as the main melee weapon's kind of odd too. I mean, I like the Opposing Force knife, but again, I think a security guard would have a baton or a taser or something, or even something more improvised like a lead pipe. It's not a huge deal though, and the knife comes in handy as a melee weapon. Some of the guns from Opposing Force come into play, like the M249 Saw and the M24 Sniper Rifle. Not all the guns make a comeback, though, and that makes sense, because you wouldn't be getting your hands on all the experimental stuff or some of the alien things. So, like, there's a unique version of the Tau Cannon you pick up. You also get your hands on other weapons of the sort. You aren't going to get the Spore Launcher or the Shock Roach, since Race X doesn't really show up in this, but the Black Ops do, and other characters do from the Opposing Force expansion. What I like is that this makes really good use of its existing assets and lets Half-Life's strengths show. Sure, Gold Source can be kind of janky with the AI, with how enemies will overuse grenades to their own detriment, but you're fighting against competent enemies. The arenas for them are set up so they can use their strengths, flank you, try to flush you out with explosives. The aliens are in environments where you can either see them battling against soldiers or using their own strengths to their advantages. I really like how the world feels plausible for Half-Life. This isn't like Sweet Half-Life, which intentionally went off the rails. This does feel like another part of Black Mesa, like I said before. Cooper, the protagonist, doesn't have much in the way of a personality, but it's a silent protagonist situation for Half-Life. I wasn't expecting anything out of it. What is a surprise is that there are a lot of new voice lines made for the security guards and the scientists. They're done with generative AI to mimic the original voice actors. I know some people criticize the mod for that, which I get. I would say my criticisms are more technical. There are times when generative AI does some very strange things with accents and pronunciations. Times when the scientists would come across more as British for some reason. I don't know why.
Our reactor was meant for the Lambda Complex team as secondary place from which to operate, in case their place would have gotten completely overrun or their machinery facing a catastrophic system failure. Instead, we are going to use it for our own purposes. Naturally, how else should it be? This plan doesn't run as smoothly as we had hoped. You see, Mr. Cooper, our teleporter is not capable of targeting an Earth destination in its current state. The border world is somehow involved in this process, which has kept us from accurately inputting safe coordinates within our own dimension.
It wasn't a huge deal, though. I mean, I've made my own AI voice lines for characters before. I haven't used them in mods, but I was open to other people using them. And I'm not opposed to the way this uses them. It's a good way to take advantage of resources available and to continue telling the story without breaking immersion too heavily. Because when you're a mod creator, you don't have a ton of resources on hand. You don't have a whole voice cast you could hire. And there's no way you're getting the Half-Life voice cast for a mod, usually. Insecure is really fun. It will take you a while. It's also one of those mods where, much like in the vanilla Half-Life experience, you can get stumped on a puzzle or a particular sequence you need to go through. So you quit, and then you go back the next day and you find the solution was very obvious. This was the case for a battle with an Apache helicopter, which it turned out I had been overlooking a box of rocket ammo that I needed to use to take it on. And there are some really creative set pieces. I think this might have the best incarnation of Zen out of all the expansions and mods I've played, because it still captures that wild and that unnatural, unnerving feeling of Half-Life 1 Zen, but it brings in some of the beauty of Black Mesa's Zen, while at the same time not going all in on their Pandora-style aesthetics. It feels like you're exploring something that isn't quite as annoying to traverse. I never had issues with Half-Life Zen chapters, but I get why people didn't like them. And I think this is the best compromise in terms of the original vision of Half-Life Zen with Black Mesa's more beautified Zen. And there are some spectacular levels and set pieces in the Zen areas near the end. I don't want to get into spoiler territory because you should experience it for yourself, but there were some parts that really blew me away with the set pieces and the creative designs that make a lot of sense and I hadn't thought of, but I hope other mods will explore the concepts that are put up by Insecure when it comes to Zen. My only real complaint about the Zen sections is that it introduces a very annoying enemy type, the Enhanced Vortigaunt, who has very high damaging, very fast throwing lightning, who can also revive other Enhanced Vortigaunts. They only appear like 3 or 4 at a time, but they're powerful, they have good health, they're very fast, very deadly, they revive each other, and you can't gib them. So, unless you're packing a lot of ammo and you have the element of surprise, or you have a lot of health, you're going to suffer fighting these guys, much like I did, because you can't really run past them either. Otherwise, though, the Zen sections are fun. I like the explosive hound eyes they brought back. This is another one of those mods that has HEV suit zombies, but I thought they handled them well here. I liked the enemy variety, the unique characters you encounter, how there are the alien grunts with and without the hive hands, so there's one type that just runs up and melees you. Overall, again, it feels like an official expansion. If you had told me, like, oh yeah, Gearbox made this and it's just been on the back burner for a while, I would have believed it. And I think that's the highest praise you can give a Half-Life mod, one that's trying to be vanilla, is that it captures the feeling of blue shift and opposing force and decay. It feels like a proper authorized add-on. And on that note, I'd highly, highly recommend it. It's very, very good. It's apparently been in development since at least 2021, and I can believe it. There's a lot of love, a lot of hard work put into it. I'm impressed with it. And I think it might go down as among the best Half-Life mods of this decade. That's a high praise, but this is really, really good. And I'm happy with the way it turned out. Happy I played through the entire thing. I mean, it's pretty much game length. It took me about 6 hours to beat based on my estimation. Though I backtracked and got lost, so maybe that padded it out on my end. But it's a balanced, fun mod that adheres to the balance, storytelling, and general world building of Half-Life. I think you'll like it if you're craving some more vanilla adjacent content for the first Half-Life. It's on ModDB, it's free to download, and it's simple to install. I'd, once again, give it 2 thumbs up. Definitely check it out. And thank you all for watching. Take care.